Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Unfathomable, which is basically the reprint to Fantasy Flight's Battlestar Galactica that can no longer be found anywhere for a reasonable price. So the biggest question that a lot of people are basically going to be asking themselves is, should you get this if you have Battlestar, or should you get this in place of? One, I think that comes down to theme. Like, if you love that show, then Battlestar does the entire show justice. But also, you're paying $300-$400 to even try to find, if you want the expansions. Right. You can get the base game for $100, but this is only about like 70, 80. But this is also, in stores, and it'll probably be supported because it's Fantasy Flight. But I absolutely love this version. I'm super glad that they did a Lovecraft. That's like my favorite theme in gaming. So I think that this theme and this, as the SS Atlantica or whatever, fits extremely well. And this is so much more streamlined than actual Battlestar. Battlestar, obviously, because Battlestar was it's like 10 years old at this point. But they basically do a lot of the same things and incorporate some of the Eldritch Horror stuff with items and, the similar skill checks that you do, as well as spells and things like that. So it modernizes it, but also keeps it similar if you have played the original. What do you guys think?
Well, as I told you before, I've only experienced Battlestar one time, and it was about 10 minutes worth of rule giving, and I had never played it before, and it was probably the worst gaming experience outside of Munchkin that I've ever had. And
that was because you were the trader, right? You were the Cylon?
I was the Cylon right off the bat, and I had no idea on how to play. This game, it was literally within 5 minutes we were playing, and it was way easier to grasp. So, I mean, had I been taught properly, I probably would have done better. But no, this one, I like the theme better, even though I love the Battlestar series from 2003 to 2006 or whatever. It was great, but I definitely like this version better, and I would play again. Yeah,
because it's also in only a couple hours. Like, in a 4-player game, one, they incorporate the cultist role and then the hybrid role, so there's still 2 traders, you just don't know. But it feels extremely balanced. I don't think the game leans one way or the other. Because like the original, from what I remember, it's still a nail-biter. You don't know who's who. Because you have to still play your role, not showing your hand too early if you're a trader, because then everyone's actively against you. But it still comes down to the wire. I mean, even then, we had 4 soul, but 2 food, 1 fuel, and 2 sanity. It still came down to one of the trader's turns.
Did you receive your hybrid card in the second dealing?
In the second phase.
And I did it too.
Oh, so the first half.
So we no traders until second dealing.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that.
Amy, what do you think?
So I do like it. I'd like to see what some of the other characters do. I've had the benefit of getting to play a couple.
That's true. We randomly got the same ones.
I like her.
But I think I liked my other character better. I think she had more interaction and capabilities with
the items, right?
Yeah. Than what this one does. I feel like, it's great to be able to play with the white cards of Doom, but
honestly though, if you didn't have her, we probably would have won.
No, that's true, because it was bad or bad for much of it. So.
Yeah, but you got to basically decide, is the ritual track going up or is the ship track going up?
Correct.
Which is huge.
Yep.
That ability is huge in being if you're a good, it's huge either way. If you're I was gonna say Cylon. If you're a hybrid, then you're like, oh no, we have to move up the ritual track. Oh no, Mother Hydra's going again. There's nothing I can do about that.
So the other thing is that is difficult for me, but playing more, get used to it more, is you need to use these cards. Like the first time we played, I didn't use these at all except for skill checks.
I will second that, because I saved myself from being defeated that one time, that is huge.
Yeah.
Rampage twice.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. So I would say that's something that people who do pick up this game need to pay attention to, these cards that we get. and not just throw them away on skill checks because they're a good number or something
Well,
like
because
that.
typically, yeah, the lower the number, the better the ability.
Right.
Like,
Actually, no, because there was a strength 5, and that was my get out of. Oh, well, it's because you're giving up a high value card
to not go to sick bay.
not go to sick bay.
Yeah, which is huge.
Yeah.
So I do think, yeah, you're absolutely right. That was something that was also in Battlestar, was the actions of, because there were actions that let you go and repair. Because in that game there were tokens. They just got placed on a spot. This one, it's actual structural damage cards that you need specific skill checks to, which is, it's cleaner. Like, you don't have to hope for a specific card to repair. You just have to have a value to go in, which I like.
And then I found that I didn't use these. And I think,
The items.
And I think, well, not just the item, but your one-time use card also.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been important to look at, but I found no...
Or remember to use before everybody uses their cards.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So...
Well, these were placed. So in Battlestar, you had a negative ability, and you had a ability you can use, and then you had a one-time. So they kind of did away with the negative ability for every character. They gave you an actual ability, and then they gave you your one-time, which is on a card, which I much prefer because this is something tangible that you can get rid of to know that you've done it, versus it being permanently printed on your card. Yeah. However, I will say these are all good. Like, some of these I can't really see as because everything in this game is supposed to be kind of double-edged sword. Oh, if you're a human, that's good for humans. If you're a hybrid, that's good for hybrids. Some of these are only good if you're human. I cannot see the full steam ahead being,
Be good if you're a cultist.
Yeah, if you really needed to get to 12.
Well, I guess, but even then you burn it and you hope that that's your one time to try and screw it over. The only reason I could see this being bad is because you lose a fuel. You have to lose a fuel. So it's like, if Kat was like the hybrid or trigger and we only had one fuel, she's like, I'm going to use this once, and then we just lose.
Yeah.
So...
And like I said, this would have been good to use at some point. I never thought about using it.
It let you change a die value to any result, right?
Yep.
I mean, see, because that's good, because, like, that
I wouldn't have failed that,
Mm-hmm. Mine is,
killing
like...
monsters.
Mine's, as an action, I can just cast the top spell card.
Yeah.
And with the Keeper Tome, I can look at the top two and put one... But that's the thing, is it's lucky. I have to hope that one of these is bad, if I'm the trader. And funny enough, though, there was one moment I had, because I was the hybrid, there was one, whenever I cast the ritual and injured all of you, there was one in here that I had that I put at the bottom, and it was heal. All of you got out of sickbay. And I was like, that's going the bottom. Because, obviously, I was trying to have the game lose. Because card advantage is so great. Like,
sure.
If you have no cards, you're failing Crisis over and over and over. And that's why it's so rough to start the game. Because if you're the only one that can draw a certain amount of cards, then it's like, well, let's hope that's not needed for the skill checks, because otherwise none of you guys have it, so we're failing and failing and failing. And that's whenever the game can kind of spiral in favor of the trader, through no fault of anyone's. It's like, there's nothing we can do about that. Kat, what do you think?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I did. Yeah, I mean, I would just Cthulhu's was right up my alley. I definitely like the deep ones because I feel like there's not enough of the deep ones all the time. Like, it's always just landlocked Arkham. And this is a very, like, spooky spooky theme, because it's, like, it wasn't until the end of the game that I was like, man, just imagine dying at sea. Like, wow.
With these things that are just going to drag you to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah, it eats ass.
Yeah.
So, I liked it, though, just in general. It's not, as solid as a Battlestar, but...
No, I like this better than Battlestar.
You like it better than Battlestar?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
One, because, like...
I guess I haven't played Battlestar in a long time.
And funny enough, I did just play it, like, a couple weekends ago. And don't be wrong, it's still great. Like, this isn't like, oh, Battlestar needs to be thrown in the fucking trash because of this. No. If you have Battlestar and you don't want to shell out... If you have everything for it, I wouldn't say shell out the $80 for this. This doesn't improve it enough. But if you don't have either, and you can spend $80 and get this, or $100 and get the base game of Battlestar... I'd say get this because this will be supported. Fantasy Flight will release expansions for it.
That's true. That is true.
There are a couple things that I don't like about this, though, that I do feel are explored more in Battlestar. One, the deep ones, they're just that. Like, there's nothing special about them, and they all lump up into one. I feel like the theming, they'd be crawling up on different sides of the board, and there are some crises that cause them to spawn in the different deck spaces, but for the most part, we had one, actually multiple times, where, there's 17 in this, and then 17 here. And it's like, why are they all on just one side of the ship? I feel like it would make the game a little bit more exciting if you had to divide and conquer.
Okay, but it's a fair criticism, but it's also fair to see that if there's 17, like, oh shit, we've all got to now move to this crisis area, and we have to ignore other things going on.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Yeah, that's true. I also, and this is probably going to be, because there are different types of deep ones, probably in expansions for it, but in original Battlestar, they had, I don't remember what the ships were called, but they had different types of alien ships that did different things.
The Bay Star and the Raiders.
Yeah, the Bay Star are essentially these. The Raiders and then the
heavy troop transports.
Yes, yep. So they had those, and that was just another different way. But maybe that's why, no, that's why they have Father Dagon, and because he spawns them and she damages the ship, and that's like she's the base star. She's the one that is damaging the ship, and he's the one that's putting the Centurions, the more deep ones, because that is the way you lose. I don't think that's the way you lose in regular Battlestar. I think if you run out of deep ones to place, you lose the game. So, yeah, I guess I'll have to pull back that as a negative, because technically Father Hydra or Father Dagon and Mother Hydra are essentially the different types of ships. And I like that. I also like the fact that thematically, when you advance, they move.
That's cool.
So
I like you don't have to go out into the ocean to kill them.
That is also very nice, because that is a very clunky rule.
I do like the card, though, that lets you kill from anywhere.
Shriveling?
Yeah. That's a good spell.
It's also, it's a great spell in every other Arkham game.
Yeah.
The other negative that I was going to bring up, and I was kind of talking to Amy and Kat before we started recording, was I still do not feel there's any player interaction. There is strategy of, hey, I'm going to do this on my turn, so then you can do this on your turn. But and I have a perfect example for this. Whenever I played Battlestar the other day, there was a choice I got to make on a card. And it was like, if I choose this, we lose food. If I choose this, we lose fuel. And we were very low on fuel, so I was like, I'm going to lose food. And my friend, who was the Cylon, he had a one-time ability that's like, nope, I'm going to reverse. Like, he had to reverse a choice. Mm-hmm. That's the kind of interaction I didn't feel was in this. There wasn't really anything, no one-time ability, no card play that's like, nope, as a because basically if you're a hybrid or a cultist, you just have to hope that the two traders aren't back-to-back. It's like, okay, well, shit, it's getting real close to the humans winning. I just got to hope for my turn, and all right, well, you guys won, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing a thing like if you're in the same ship location, being able to trade cards or items. That would be...
you can. Trading is an action.
That's a thing that I did not know.
Yeah, you can, where is it? Action, you can move, attack, rescue, enable the trading of items between players.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, that other character allowed me to receive items and then give them to
and
people.
hand them out. So, I mean, there is some of that, but I guess I'm talking about more about in terms of being a trader.
Like a gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like my one-time screw you. The only time you can do that, which I do like that everyone has a reveal as a trader ability. Mm-hmm. That is, because also what's nice, and this is brilliant on their end, in Battlestar, that was on your card. So if you drew like your Cylon card and you forgot your ability, you'd have to pick it up again and then read it. And at that point, everyone's like, "What are you reading?" We know, because there's nothing else. There's no reason to read your human card.
It would be great if we'll talk about another game that we recently played, Shadows. It had, if you're a trader, it's got that stuff on it. It's a player aid. You can see it plain as day. So that because totally, when we were supposed to be looking at these, that's revealed trader rules.
It's on the back of that.
But does it have the cultist on there?
The cultist is essentially the same. The only thing that's different for the cultist is your win condition.
Right, which is what I didn't read it here because I didn't, you were like, you took 2 seconds to put it away, and I was like, well, shit, I don't want to be sitting here looking at this.
I mean, Kat did say, hey, we're supposed to read it, and I was like, all right.
In all fairness, I was like, because that is unfair to you guys.
It is true, but I was like, oh, I just can't remember.
Mine.
So
I was really getting into looking at the people.
That's what I was doing on my phone. I was trying to find online rules for the cultist. Because I was like, shit, I can't.
I mean, because that's the thing, is they have that 30-second rule, but the problem is you don't need it because there's nothing different. It's not like there's different text if you're a human. There's no different text if you're a hybrid. So it really is, I guess, just for players to kind of see how they win when they're all of a sudden dealt, a trader card. However, I mean... If you play this game a couple times, and you're gonna know, oh, I'm the cultist, I know how to win. Yeah. But there is, the play rates are very, very nice, and there's enough of them for everyone to play. Of what you do on your turn, how the brig works, revealing as a trader, it's all here. And what's also great is,
of course, if you see somebody reading the revealed trader rules, that's kind of a giveaway.
It is also a tell,
right.
Yeah, and that's just kind of it. It is just one of those things in every single trader game. That's like, how do I do this? I guess instead of shadows, it is. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
to move things
an
around.
unnecessary cost, and
right. But other than that, I really have no negatives. It still would be, and they can add that in an expansion. Ways to make the traders easier for them to win. Kind of a balancing act on both sides if you're having a hard time on either side. One other thing that you mentioned the other day was the players that you play as aren't your typical Lovecraft that are, it's not Michael McGlenn and Jenny Barnes and Ash Campee. Mm-hmm. It's not them every single fucking time. Where it's like, I know their story. How much can you give me?
These are different characters, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, because Cthulhu Death May Die was the same way. Right. It was like, these are just... One of them's Rasputin as a character. So
they had to come up with stretch goals for their Kickstarter campaign.
That is fair. But here it's like, I don't know if these characters are in actual Lovecraft lore. Or if they're... I mean, they have their Arkham Horror files, or if these are characters that they have actually created. But their backstories are all still extremely fascinating and pertain specifically to why they're on the ship.
Yeah.
Which I always enjoy. It's not just like some vague, weird stuff happened at the cafe, and this waitress went to go become an occult leader. It's like, what? So, that is very nice. Do you guys have any negatives?
No.
No? Yeah, I mean...
That's it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things. Well, there is the 2 ritual tracks, instead of just... Because in Battlestar, there's just the 1 track that you move up. You have the jump drive that you can risk passengers to kill to try and jump ahead of time or wait. What do you guys think of the banishment spell?
I like it.
You like it?
I think it balances the amount of deep ones that you have.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not careful, you also take negatives. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a balancing act.
Yeah, maybe that's their counter.
Cards are everything in this game, and being in sickbay drawing 1 card is terrible.
Yeah, that was also in Battlestar. Going in sickbay sucks. I mean, I'd much rather draw 1 card and still get to do a turn than versus just be like, skip your turn, you're in sickbay. The brig also sucks if you get sent to the brig. And that is a negative. That's also a negative for Battlestar, is if you're sent to the brig, your game is essentially over. If we did not want you to get out...
No, there was no way. If we had those cards
somebody could do it every turn.
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. And if we had those cards early on with the traitor and the cultist...
Yeah.
Then I would have just been SOL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, pretty much, if I was the hybrid at the beginning, or let's say you went to the brig after I did get the hybrid... I would have actively kept you in there.
Yeah.
Just because I wouldn't risk it. Because it's like, well, the cultists can't really help me as much.
Really putting Cat in the brig is what would have been important. That moving extra spots.
God, and you can fucking send people to the brig. I forgot.
I totally could have done that.
Yeah, you go to the cap, you go to the freaking...
Oh, well, we can't because it was broken.
It was damaged. Granted, I had the will... If I had known, at that point, we both should have just revealed.
You had the will, but did you have the way?
Well,
I could have went there, I could have fixed it, and then you could have went on your turn and sent Kat to the brig, because she was, that's a good point. She was the one that was going to ramp it up, and it was but then we would have had to heal the ship to try and stop it. So we would have had to try to risk.
You don't want to do too much in the favor of humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know.
And I had to keep showing that I was good by, I'm going to cast this Plague of Locusts and kill 5 of them.
Literally the only time that I was like, this isn't right, is when you were like...
When I looked over, because I thought,
I was like,
yeah, you're full steam ahead. I was checking to see if you had to damage the ship. I was hoping you were the cultist.
I was like, oh,
because I was like, yes, double move the ship and damage it. But you weren't.
I was just okay with damaging the ship.
That was my only hope, because at that point I saw how it moved up, and I'm like, okay, the only way I'm winning is if Cat's the cultist.
Yeah, it was like there was no benefit to me to reveal, because then I could have, because
you reset it.
You can actually attack other players too. Mm-hmm. There's your player interaction.
If I was as well, my reveal is if I'm not in the brig, I get to damage an undamaged interior. So
you as the cultist or the hybrid would have been the best one.
And this one would have been fun too, because I get to choose 4 different water spaces and spawn a deep one in each of those spaces.
That's not bad, because you can also draw up and try and... Mine's not actually that great. Is when I reveal as a traitor, I can retreat or advance the ritual track up to 2. Which, that's only good if there's a lot of passengers. Yeah. Or if you guys are...
on the
Mine's great for the cultist, because it resets this track.
Yeah.
But for the traitor, it's no point.
Yeah. So, the traitor mechanic is kind of give or take. Some are better than others, I think, as the traitor. Like, they're situational. Like, mine could be good if I risk a bunch.
Right.
And then it's like, aha! Move it up and then kill 5 of them. Because you can also... I think there's something that happens, I can't remember, if you have no passengers to take. But some of these are... Well, I guess only 2 of them. 2 of them are doubles. One's a soul and a sanity, and then 2 souls. But there's also a couple misses. But yeah, you're right. There is some player interaction when you reveal, because you go out and you attack someone. You can personally go out and kill passengers as the traitor. So, but yeah, you can send people to the brig. But yeah, that's all I can really think of for this game. I am very happy with how it turned out. I had heard rumors that they were making a Cthulhu remake for Battlestar. I won't be keeping Battlestar. I would much rather play this over that one, because it is streamlined and does everything that the original does, and it actually has art instead of stupid stock
and
photos.
You like your theme.
And the theme's way better. Yeah, because all the flavor text in Battlestar, it's like they're from the show. And I'm like, well, I haven't seen the whole show, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And this one, everyone can... I mean, obviously some people don't like Lovecraft, but you can generally get people into, and they're going to understand what's going on, versus being like, I don't know who this character is. Like, no one... This isn't a real person, so you don't have to know. In Battlestar, it's like, oh, hey, you're...
Starbuck.
You're Starbuck, or you're the shitty guy that everyone hates in the entire
guy.
show. What was his name? Gaius Baltar. It's like, yeah, in the show, everyone hates him, and it's like, okay, who cares? I don't know. I haven't seen the show.
I mean, he only sold out the human race.
Yeah, but he was never a Cylon, right?
But why?
Yeah, well, because in
Because
the
of Caprica 6, and she was hot.
Well, then there you
the blonde.
go.
Trisha Helfer.
Yeah, I mean, because in the board game, he starts with 2 loyalty cards at the beginning of the game. So statistically, and whenever we played, he was a Cylon. It's like, yeah, statistically, you're gonna have it. But there's also a chance you won't. And I just love these kinds of games. Like, this one still does the traitor mechanic the best, in my opinion, because it's never a time where you're like, maybe someone isn't a traitor. And once everyone kind of clicks with that, it's like, okay, game's super easy. Dead of Winter is that way. If no one's a betrayer, the game, I feel like, because everyone's working for Christ.
But you got to play on the more difficult.
But with this game, you know that there's a traitor, and you know that there's a cultist, and yet the fact that, I didn't pinpoint it as either of you guys,
right.
I couldn't really pinpoint it the same way.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's fantastic is at some point it's like, okay, maybe we are working together.
I definitely didn't know until
I'm looking over and I'm like, fuck.
We need to get you to play Thing Outpost 31.
Yes, please.
And and then once we can get it, and then get it here, because that is, you may all start out as normal, but then there are the
Infections.
imitation cards that come out. And, so it might start out with one imitation, but then the next round, now there might be 2 or 3 imitations. And it's like at the end, there's 4 seats on the helicopter. Okay, who's going to make the vote to who gets on? And like, okay, we can use some blood test kits and try and rule some people out. And it's very...
I've been
very
human
cool.
every time, and I've been murdered.
Every time they just won't let you on. Yeah.
It's a good movie, and I bet it's a great game.
It's a great game.
Well, and that's what makes these games super fun, because you don't have to be like aggressive about it. Like, yeah, it's fun to kind of be like, oh, Cat's the traitor, but then as you keep saying it over and over, someone does something, and you're like, whenever you didn't kill both and jumped over, I was like, why wouldn't he do that? That's interesting.
Anyway, Cat's the traitor.
And then it's like, then you slowly start to, doubt. And this one, because I just love the fact that someone will be a traitor at some point.
Yeah.
And it might even be you. You might be human. Then you're all of a sudden like, okay, fuck. All right, now I gotta, like, all right, I was helping out a lot. Now I all of a sudden have to aggressively try to tank it.
That was me yesterday.
Oh, yeah, because the second card, yeah, you did get the hybrid. I figured your negative would have been the cultist.
I think the cultist is difficult because you definitely, like, if I was the hybrid, I would have tanked it the first chance I got.
Yeah.
Unless I had revealed and you knew, and you were like, okay, either I can tank it and win, or I can try and get this through and help Steve and me to win together. See, that's the thing. There's no loyalty between, I'm loyal to the hybrid, but you're like, I don't give a fuck.
That's true.
I'll tank the game because
it's a what is it? Means to an end. Right. It's like, I wouldn't want to go against you because you're going to help me win at the end of the day. Now there is something that I should bring up that is going to be more prevalent in a higher player game, because it plays up to 6. Whenever you reveal, like, let's say I have 2 hybrid cards. When I reveal as a traitor, you reveal your so let's say I had 2 hybrid, or let's say my first card was the cultist, my second card's the hybrid. I reveal, oh, yep, I'm the cultist, and I take this one, and I hand it to another player. So now I know for a fact, if I happen to have both, that Cat's now a hybrid. So you could actually infect other players to...
What if that was a human card? Would you still pass it?
You still have to pass it, but I can try and... now you guys...
So if I would have revealed as a cultist...
You would have handed your human card out.
To another player? Interesting.
But it's face down, so it sows... doubt between players, because now you guys might think, well, he revealed, okay, we're not going to go with Cat, we're going to throw Cat in the brig. And I like that idea, because one, if let's say it is just me, as I happen to have both, and it's like, well, fuck, okay, I'll reveal myself as the hybrid, and then do my stuff, and then I'm like, and now I want Cat, because that's perfect to get someone who can move the ship, be like, okay. Because now Cat wouldn't be working to try and full steam ahead.
And it's only if the distance is less than 12 do you give your unrevealed loyalty card to another player.
Yeah, so giving it to someone who has control, because once again, this game has variety in situation. It's like, nope, I want the person who can control this.
Right.
Nope, I want the person who can move that all the way back, because we're right there. It's who's going next? Oh, it's Steve. There you go, buddy. Because if I don't know you're the traitor or the cultist, or it's like, okay, well, now you are, now I need you to reveal and move that back. So... there is, I guess, the more we talk about it, there is player interaction, but there isn't any gotcha.
Right.
So, that's it. That's all I can think of. On a scale of 1 to 10, we'll start with Amy. We'll go this way. So, Kat will end
I will give you a 7 or an 8.
Okay. Which one? 7.5, I guess.
That's what I'm giving.
Yeah.
7.5. Yep. Right in the middle.
Yep. And it's only because, like I said, I would love to do more playthroughs with other characters and even seeing what a bigger group would do.
Yeah.
I think it would cause it a longer game, but I think that it would be...
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it might not be.
This took about 2 hours. My 6-player game of Battlestar was about 2.5.
Okay.
2.5, 3. So it does make it longer.
But like I said, I like the dynamics. I'd like to see what the dynamics would be with the more players.
Mm-hmm. In a 6-player game... the loyalty cards, there are 9 humans, 1 cultist, and 2 hybrids.
See, and so that sounds like it'd be kind of a fun dynamic, because then you have to really try to figure it out. And it's not like, oh, well, I know 2 people are.
Yeah. I will say, I would never play this with 3. I mean, 3 makes it 5.
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, because it's always going to be, the loyalty cards are half. 4, I actually thought was really good.
It's
like
good.
4, I would say 4 or 6.
No, and I think you also make a good point. I think that I would give it the 8 because it is up to 6 players, and sometimes we have trouble finding games to do like higher numbers of players that aren't just like.
And this one isn't convoluted to teach.
Right.
Like
Get a Winner, it, has that hidden trader, and it's a longer game. It's more complex for new players. This one is pretty simple for new players.
I think they struck a good balance because they could have easily fucked this up, and it's like, great, okay, it's a shittier Battlestar. I don't want to buy this because it's bad, and I can't get Battlestar anywhere because it's $300. But yeah, in a 6-player game, it is fantastic because there is still that chance the opening 6 cards are all human. Yeah. But with more players, you're like, statistically, that is unlikely. Who the fuck is it? Which one of you? All right, can't be Kat because she's not playing.
Well, what's your score?
9. I absolutely. I'd give Battlestar a 9 as well. This basically is the exact same game, but just streamlined and matches a theme. I almost never on a top 10 gaming experiences, Battlestar would have been in there because it's always super tense. This matches a theme. Well, I'd probably give Battlestar an 8 because I like this theme a lot better. The fact that streamlined, they didn't do any weird stuff to make it like Fantasy Flight. They didn't do some weird Crisis deck shit. They added enough newness that it's not.
There's no Crisis deck, which is in your hand, by the way.
No. Like because in like Fallout, for example, they have those stupid quest cards, and then Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, which is just dog shit. Like they didn't just re-skin it. This isn't a pasted-on theme. They actually incorporated the theme. Deep Ones, the item decks, the spells. They just did a fantastic job at allowing people to have that Battlestar Galactica experience and have a readily available game. So, I'd give it a 9. Kat?
Giving it an 8.
Wow, I guess you hate it. No.
Yeah.
That's good for Kat. That's the highest score since I've played.
Since you started been on the
Super
channel.
high score.
That's true.
I'm always giving like 3s or 4s.
Typically, if it's cooperative, it's gonna go.
I love a co-op game.
Unless you're the trader.
Even if no, I like being a trader.
I was hoping you were, because I relied on your ability to crash the ship.
I did crash the ship just into the fucking harbor, and also, you're all going to jail.
I'm not.
That was my objective.
I could swim in the ocean. I survived. You died, unfortunately, as the cultist.
My robes got filled with water.
So an 8.
In your pockets.
Yeah. 8 out of 10. All right, perfect. So 8, 7.5, 9, 8. All right, so that's our thoughts on Unfathomable. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.